sure if it's. Well, I guess I can take this off. I'm live. Yay! But why is it so dark?
That's the introduction right there.
Well, this is my first live stream. Hi, everybody. Nobody's watching, of course, because I've only got like 39 subscribers. And everybody else is doing live streams right now because it's Halloween. And I found out that the lighting is horrible on this. So sorry that the lighting is horrible. You can see Sea Dog in the background. He's very blurry in the picture. I think you have to come closer.
Well, maybe that's a good thing. It's Halloween days.
Oh, yay! I've got 2 people watching. Come on, you guys need to comment so I know who you are. This is my first YouTube live stream. Oh my gosh, this is so wild. In about a year, I'm gonna look back on this, and I'm gonna be like doing I'll probably be more advanced at that point, and I'll probably be doing a react video to this, and I'll be like, boy, was I ever stupid back then. Okay, one person left. I still have one person. How do I determine who the
people that are watching you is not going to make it interesting.
Okay, well.
Talk about something else.
Okay, so it's Halloween, and no, I'm not dressed up. I could put my Irish dance wig on, but I didn't feel like doing that. We're probably not going to have any kids or anything here that are going to be like video or like trick-or-treating or anything, because I'm not sure if there's a lot of kids in this. My hair looks horrible. It keeps sticking up. I hate it. But let's see, what can I talk about today? Let's talk about the Halloween here in the Twin Cities of 1991, which is when I was 8 months pregnant with Sea Dog. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Chloe. Hit that subscribe button below. Click that like button. It's awesome. Watch this video more and more. Share it with your friends. I mean, I know I'm not very popular and I'm not very exciting or anything, but I'm still trying to get the feelers out there to what I want to do. This next week is going to be really, really nice and warm. But anyway, getting back to my story. So 1991, for any of you that don't live in Minnesota, all of us Minnesotans relive the Halloween of 1991. So what happened was Halloween that year was on a Thursday, and right around the time that the kids started going trick-or-treating, it was like 5:30, 6 o'clock, something like that. It started snowing like really, really bad. Like it was coming down in buckets. Like if it was a rainstorm, you wouldn't have been able to see 5 feet in front of your face. That's how hard and how big the snowflakes were. So we would normally get like maybe 20, 30 kids in the neighborhood. This is when I was living in Champlin, Minnesota, which is northwest of Minneapolis. We had a lot of kids that lived in the neighborhood, and so we get a lot of kids that would come around. Well, I think that year we were lucky to get like 6 kids or something, and because the kids didn't want to go out in this heavy snow, and so we had all this extra candy left up eating, and so we went to bed that night. Woke up Friday morning, and we already had, oh gosh, I don't know, maybe 10 inches on the ground, maybe that's exaggerating it just slightly, but we had a lot of snow. And so they shut the entire city down. The kids didn't go to school that day. Women that were pregnant were being driven to the hospital in either SUVs. Of course, back then it was 4-wheel drives, I think. I don't know if they had SUVs back in 91. Or get this, they were using snowmobiles. The men were driving their pregnant, in labor wives or girlfriends to the hospital in snowmobiles on the highway. There was one story I remember where this guy was driving his wife who was in labor to the hospital, and he literally got stuck. He was in like a pickup truck or something. And he literally got stuck on Highway 94. So he's calling 911 because he couldn't get his truck out of the snowbank that he ended up in. And the plows couldn't even plow because the snow was coming down so hard. So they just gave up. Snow plows weren't even working anymore. And he called 911 and they were trying to send an ambulance to him and try to get a snowplow to pave the way for the ambulance. But even the snowplow got stuck, or the ambulance got stuck, or both of them. And so he ended up delivering his child himself, the dad delivered his child himself in the truck with the 911 operator on the phone. That was absolutely wild. So that was on either Friday or Saturday that he did that. And it snowed all day Friday, all night Friday night, all day Saturday. It was still snowing when we went to bed on Saturday. And when we woke up Sunday morning, the sun was finally shining. And I think we got anywhere between 24 and 36 inches of snow out of that one storm. And that's more than what we normally get in an entire season. So that was our Halloween storm. And then the day after Thanksgiving, which was the day that Sea Dog was born, I gave birth to him early in the morning. It was before 7 o'clock in the morning. And there was another snowstorm the day after Thanksgiving, which dumped another 18 inches on us. So between Halloween and Thanksgiving, yeah, it was kind of nice. There were nice days, but the snow didn't melt too much, maybe like 5 inches or something. So we still had quite a bit of snow on the ground. And so then we got another 18 inches of snow dumped on us. And Sea Dog's dad at the time and I were still married, obviously. And he stayed at the hospital all day, and then he left, I think, around dinner time or shortly after dinner, and he made it all the way back home. And I think the hospital was maybe 10, 15 miles away from where we lived at the time. And he actually didn't get stuck until he was trying to drive into the driveway, which was crazy. And so then we were all bracing ourselves for Christmas. And I don't remember what the temperature was, but it was a beautiful day on Christmas and everything. So that's one of the more recent Halloweens that I remember. That was absolutely crazy. But yes, as a child, I would get dressed up and we'd go out trick or treating, and we'd have our sometimes we would have like garbage bags or whatever that we'd use, but most of the time we'd use like pillowcases. I don't know if you guys ever did that, but we'd use like pillowcases to collect our candy in. And of course, back then we'd go out in groups and everything. And this is well before the candy scare, and that happened when I was in junior high. So that was like in the mid to late 70s. And so I'll get to that story in a second, but what we would do is we would go out and go trick-or-treating with, like, I'd go out with my sisters, and we'd go out as a group and go to all these houses, and we'd come home with tons and tons of candy. And then when I was in junior high, which is now called middle school, I guess, there was this guy that worked at the candy factory that made Three Musketeers and Milky Way and stuff like that. I don't know if that's considered Mars brand, maybe. I'm not sure, but I don't think it's Hershey's. Yeah, I don't think it's Hershey. I think it's Mars. Is Mars and M&M's, I think, made those candy bars. And he hated kids. And so what he would do is he would take bits of razor blades and needles and sharp objects and put them inside the Three Musketeers and the Milky Ways, so that when the kids bit into them, then their tongue and their lips would get cut. And they found out who did this, and they fired him and, of course, put him in jail and everything. And so that's why parents today have to check their candy just in case there's another freak out there that would do something like this. But I remember one of my sisters had gotten like a Three Musketeers bar, and we had heard about this story. So my mom was she'd have us break open the candy. So it's not like you'd stick the whole candy in your mouth, even though they were small. You'd have to break it apart to make sure there wasn't anything in there. And I think my sister Diane ended up having a needle in one of her pieces of candy. So that was pretty scary. So of course my mom took the whole candy bar and threw it away. And then we were checking through all of our candy to make sure that there was no more needles or razor blades or anything in those. So that was pretty scary. But you know, when we got older, of course, we didn't go out trick-or-treating, but we would hand out the candy to the kids and stuff. And of course, when my kids got older, or when my kids were born and they got older, then we'd bring them out trick-or-treating. And then one of us would stay home and hand out the candy, and then the other one would bring the kids around to the different houses. So sometimes, I mean, when I've handed out candy in the past, in recent years, I've dressed up as an Irish dancer because I used to do Irish dancing. And so I'd have the wig on, I'd have the dress on, even though you couldn't tell that it was an Irish dance dress unless I turned around, because it was a dress that I bought from Macy's. And then they had what they called a cape, but it was just like a piece of material that had like the Celtic knot patch on it. And the patches would attach to the shoulder on the back. And so unless you turned around, it just looked like a plain black dress in the front. So there was no defining decorations or anything, Irish decorations on the front. So, I mean, I still have the dress. I don't have the cape anymore. I took that off, but like I'd wear the shoes and I'd do I'd have the hair on and everything. And then as the kids would come down the hall, I'd play some Irish music and I'd start doing some Irish dancing. And then I would hand out the candy. And of course, the kids love that. So, Sea Dog, are you coming out? I hope he's not dressing up. He said he was going to dress up as a Yeti because he has a lot of hair on his arms. He calls himself a Yeti all the time. I've only got one person here, so if you're still watching, please comment below so I can have like a conversation with you. So today I was watching videos and I watch these two actors. I know I've mentioned this in a video before, where they call themselves Trilogy Media. And they call up scammers, like they call the scammers back with a fake number so that they can't be traced. And they waste the scammers' time by making up, funny stories. And they give themselves, different names. And they have like a voice changer on their computer so that it's two guys, but they can make themselves sound like a woman so that the scammer thinks that they're talking to a woman and stuff. Well, Ashton got married last year to this gal from Ireland, and she actually happened to be one of his subscribers on his channel, and they started talking through Instagram, and they met in New York because he lives in LA and she lived in County Mayo in Ireland, and they had like an instant spark between them, and like they just knew they were meant for each other. So they ended up getting married last year. And so she was talking about how Halloween actually started in Ireland. And so you can check out her channel. Her name is Amy McDonough Guitar, and she just posted the video today, and it's Irish versus American Halloween. And so she talks all about how Halloween started in Ireland with the Celts, and I guess November 1st was considered the Celtic New Year, and so this was considered like their New Year's Eve, and they would dress up in costumes because they always felt like the spirits would come around, the spirits of the dead would come around and like ruin their crops and stuff. And this is before the famine, the Irish famine. And so they would dress up in costume to confuse the ghosts, to kind of hide their identity and stuff like that. And what they used to do is they would carve turnips, but turnips are very hard to work with, to carve them. And so because in America, we have more pumpkins and we have turnips.
I got interesting.
Oh, no.
Oh, give me your booty.
What is going on?
I'm Captain
watching Sea Dog. Give me a
Wow.
I'm here to
This
pillage.
This live stream just got really interesting. Wow.
I'm coming for you, Captain Hook.
I am not afraid of you in the least. Oh my God. Are you for real right now, dude?
You want a Halloween stream? There's your Halloween.
Wow. Hey, you know what? Why don't you? Can you go? Did you want to talk to them, or do you want to go get my wig for me?
Your wig?
Yeah,
Where's
it's in the
your
hall
wig?
closet, I think. It's
You're
in
not
that big
bald. What do you
plastic.
need a wig for?
My Irish dance wig. I was going to show that to them.
Where is it?
I think it's in the closet in the hallway. Yeah, like where the towels are kept in that, the linen closet. It's in that plastic container thing. I'll show you what my Irish dance wig looks like. I'm not gonna do Irish dancing though, because my knees have been. I've got arthritic knees. I think he's destroying things back there.
What are you whispering?
I said, I think you're destroying things back there.
Oh no.
All right,
Well,
so
I'm
why
a
don't
pirate.
you sit down and talk to the fine person that's here?
What am I supposed to say?
I don't know. Talk about what you're doing in your life and all that stuff.
That'll be a short conversation. I'm not really doing a whole lot. And this is the people that follow you on YouTube?
Yeah, this is a YouTube live stream.
Oh, so like Danny and what's his name?
Yeah.
John and John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. What?
Oh my God, seriously. Danny Sierra
Hello.
and Danny Diamond are two different people.
Oh, who's watching?
I don't know.
Oh, it doesn't show who's watching?
I don't know. See if you can click on it and see if it shows who's
Oh no, I don't think you can. Okay, well, I guess it's not important. Hello! I'm a pirate. Yes. This is my fake knife. Obviously, I would not have a real knife like that on screen. How's it going? I guess Chloe was giving me some background on Halloween. To be honest, I think Halloween is kind of a dying holiday, in my opinion. I remember when we were growing up, we used to, get all decked out and everything. Maybe some parts of the country still do that, and other countries as well. But from my personal experience in the last few years, it just hasn't been as big of an event as it used to be when I was growing up. Granted, I did grow up in multiple cities, multiple states, so again, it could be by region. But there have not been as many trick-or-treaters anymore. It's kind of a bit depressing, honestly, in my opinion. But actually, if you're watching, if you want to comment on how busy it is in your area for Halloween, like if you guys have any good Halloween scary stories, funny stories, stuff like that from back in the day or even a couple years ago, go ahead and post the stories. We'd love to hear them. Sea Dog always loves hearing stories, so I'm not very great at telling stories, but I love to hear them. So let's see. When I was growing up, the first few Halloweens I remember growing up, I'm talking here. I'm working on it. Like I said, I'm not the greatest at telling stories, but I remember growing up in my earlier years, we lived up north in northern Minnesota, more central Minnesota, but I say up north because it's north of where I live now. However, my dad, my sisters, and my uncle and a few of my cousins all grew up in the same area for a few years. And one of my cousins used to go around and dress up with his friends. And his tradition was to go around and scare the little kids in the neighborhood. And I always thought he was just so cool, you know, because I was a little kid and I looked up to him, and man, I wanted
Tell
to be
them
just like
about the
him.
year that you dressed
So-
up after you were in the army,
What?
and you.
I don't know if that'd be okay to tell. I mean, technically, I wasn't
It's
supposed
adults
to
that are watching it.
I know, but I wasn't even
We had
supposed to be wearing
pictures
my
of it.
uniform anyway. But
We had pictures of it. You could just tell them what happened. It was
Okay.
funny.
I'll get to that one. So yeah, he used to dress up in a lot of scary outfits and stuff. This was late 90s, early 2000s, like 98, 99, 2000, 2001, when this was going on. And then after that, we moved out to Illinois for a few years. And Halloween was still fun. It was really big. You know, we lived in a neighborhood with tons and tons and tons of houses, and we would go around to all the houses. And back then, it's the same today, but I remember back then, if the house was decked out in Halloween, what do you call it? Halloween decorations. Then they would be handing out candy. That's how the kids knew which houses to go to and which houses not to go to. So if they had any decorations in their front yard or on their house or something like that. Oh, now I really look like a scary pirate. Look at that. No, put it off to the side there. Arr. No, but when me and my sisters were growing up in Illinois, it was the houses that were decked out that we would go to get candy from. Now, you know, after the whole anthrax scare and whatnot back then, parents had to check the candy to make sure that there was no anthrax in it. So I do remember me and my sisters would come home and we'd be pillowcase filled with candy, and then mom and stepdad would have to check the candy. They're like, all right, hand over the candy. And we were like, no, we want to eat the candy. So, you know, to a kid, we didn't understand all that well, you know. I mean, we somewhat understood, you know, obviously, but, you know, to a kid, all they want to do is collect the candy and eat it. You know, they didn't really think about the dangers of what could be or could not be in the candy. So, you know, parents had to check the candy and make sure that it was safe to eat. So, and then, trying to think, a few years later, we moved out to another city in Illinois. And
tell them where we live. We don't live very long.
We continued to dress up and whatnot. And then by then, we were teenagers. So a lot of people were like, well, I'm not going to give candy to teenagers. Like, you're too old for trick-or-treating.
Heck, you'd probably go out tonight trick-or-treating if you could.
No. Not anymore. Maybe if I had kids, I would, but I don't have any kids right now.
Okay, well, it wasn't that long ago that you were still trick-or-treating and you were over 20.
Yeah, I guess that's true. So yeah, they were like,
he's a man-child.
Yeah, I always am. So a lot of people were like, aren't you a little old to be trick-or-treating? And we were like, you know, we're still technically kids, you know. Technically, you're not an adult legally until you turn 18. So why not? Milk it for all it's worth, right? Well, then, you know, we started hitting the adult years, and we would still dress up. We didn't necessarily go trick-or-treating anymore, but we still dressed up. One year, I dressed up as a bloody soldier.
I'm going to see if I can find something.
So what I did was I put on an army uniform. We used fake blood, the fake red blood that they had, and we also decked it out a little bit to make it seem more legit. My sister had her costume. I can't remember what she was supposed to be. I think she was like trying to combine like 5 or 6 different things into one thing. but she had a makeup kit for one of her costumes, and we used the makeup kit. So we used like black and brown and green to kind of like camouflage as if I was in like a jungle setting or like woods or something like that out in the wild. And we had made up this story that that a monster was running around in the a monster was running around in the apartment complex, and it had attacked me. So me and a fake buddy of mine were going around trying to hunt this and whatnot, and so the trick or treaters knock on the door, and they've got this like little girl with them. Couldn't have been more than 5, maybe 6, possibly 7. And she opens the door, and I'm right there in the hallway. When they open the door, they can see me lying on the floor with fake blood and fake mud and camouflage all over my face, my hands, everywhere. And I pretended like I was wounded. So I kind of moved around a little bit. And when my mom opened the door, when Chloe opened the door, she's like, "Oh my God, oh my God, there's a monster running around in the apartment complex. He attacked my son, and he's going to get everybody else too." This little girl was so traumatized that she froze on the spot. She froze right there on the spot. And the mom and the dad are looking at the girl. She's looking up at the parents like, "I don't want to stay here anymore." And the parents are just cracking up. The dad is just losing it. And I was like, my mom felt so bad. Chloe felt so bad that she had traumatized this little girl that she went, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's not real. It's fake." And the dad is just dying laughing. And I was like, that is the greatest scare ever. That is like one of the greatest scares I've ever been able to perform. Now, I'm not much of a prankster, but that was a good one, I thought. And oh my gosh, it was just so hilarious. I started laughing. Mom was just falling to pieces because she couldn't believe that she had just traumatized this little girl. And here's Wiggy. Here's Wiggy.
Chloe. My gosh. Yeah, I felt so bad for this poor little girl. Do we know who this person is? Did you see
No, I
who it
couldn't
is?
figure it out. You can't even click on it.
Oh, you can't?
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it as long as there's somebody watching.
Okay. All right. And it's got, like, this didn't come with the wig. This is just like one of those headband things that goes around your head. But it's supposed to kind of hide, like, your actual hair. So this is what it looks like. And yes, it does bounce. I back up a little bit. Bounce when you're bouncing around. And that, so I have worn this wig while I've been Irish dancing. The last couple years of the Irish dance, actually. So it's Coke. I don't drink. I am Irish. I am German, but I do not drink. So
Okay, that's not just the Irish and the Germans that do that.
okay, but the Irish are known for drinking, especially on any day that ends with Y, but most especially on St. Patrick's Day.
Well,
So
any culture drinks.
all true. So yeah, that was our Thanksgiving. Found a couple little pumpkin things that we have.
Thanksgiving.
Or, did I say Thanksgiving? I meant Halloween.
Halloween.
Halloween. I misspoke. I'm sorry.
Thanksgiving is
I'm sorry. Okay, so
Thanksgiving.
now that it's been almost half an hour that I've been doing that, nobody chatted. This is my very first live stream that I tried. I know I didn't give you guys much of a chance to, like I didn't give you like any fair warning or something. It's just kind of like spur of the moment thing. Hey, let's do a live stream and see if I can do it. Because apparently at Adriana's birthday party, which was last weekend, Silver Mist told me that I can do a live stream on my computer. I did not know that. I thought when she first told me about doing YouTube and live streams that I had to have 1,000 followers in order to do a live stream, but apparently that's just for your phone. And I don't even have 40 subscribers yet. So I know I haven't been doing a lot of videos lately. I've been really in a slump. SAD has been kicking my butt lately. I just don't feel like doing anything. Even the games that I normally play, I'm getting bored of them too. But this next week is supposed to be really nice. Some of you may be wondering about my trip out west to California. It is on indefinite hold right now. Am I still door dashing? I will be doing so this next week. The fact that it's only been getting up into the 30s. We've had a couple of a couple of days that it snowed. The first time that it snowed, it was like 6.5 inches of snow. And I think I put that in Adriana's birthday party video. That snow has pretty much all melted by now, but you know, this is the beginning of the year, the season and stuff for that. So, and don't forget to turn your clock back this tonight. Fall back, spring forward. So you gain an extra hour of sleep. So make sure that you turn your clocks back tonight. Of course, if you're watching this after November 1st, you would know. And I don't even know if you have clocks hanging on your walls because everybody uses their phone for pretty much everything. So automatically turn your clocks back. But just remember that the clocks turn back tonight. So for those of you that recognize the whole what do you call it? Daylight, yeah, thank you. Daylight savings time. Yeah, I wish my hair was this curly. Seriously, I really do. But hopefully, the next time I do a live stream, I will give you a little bit more fair warning. If you want to see me do more live streams, please comment and let me know. And I'll try to make it on a certain day of the week, or maybe do it like once every 2 weeks or once a month or something until I can get more. Excuse me, I'm burping like crazy because of the pop. Until I can get more established and stuff like that, and I get more subscribers, and then more people can chime in. Nobody commented while I was live, so that's kind of sad.
Well,
I need some people.
Well,
there was 2 at the beginning, and then 1 signed out, so I don't know what's going on. So
probably because they're looking for interest in Halloween.
I'm boring. I'm sorry. I'm not a young kid anymore. I'm over 50.
Age has nothing to do with being interesting, okay?
Well, it must, because some of these other people are in like their 30s and they've got like millions of subscribers. And
probably because they've been doing it for a while. You're still kind of fresh.
Well, I've been doing it for about 2 years. Yeah. I mean, I consider my first YouTube video, official YouTube video, to be of my dog nearly got attacked when Lucky almost got that one day that we went grocery shopping and you were going to take Lucky out, and then that Pomeranian came barreling down the hallway, and I freaked out. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I still see that guy once in a while when I'm driving around doing DoorDash. He must live on the other side of town.
You're still alive.
I know. Well, it's not like Trilogy doesn't sit there and talk to each other instead of their fans all the time either. And it's not like there's not one comment on here, so it's not like whatever. It's probably Danny Sierra Lynn, because she always tunes into my videos. So if it is Danny Sierra Lynn, I haven't talked to you in a few days, so let me know how things are going. I hope we haven't had a falling out. I hope I didn't say anything to upset you, and if I did, I sincerely apologize. Maybe you just needed a break from talking to me every day. I don't know, but still love you, gal. But yeah, please comment. Please hit that like button. Really, really would appreciate that. let me know if you want to see me do more live streams. I'll try to find more interesting topics to talk about. Maybe you want to. What are you doing?
It's called pirate dance.
The what?
The pirate dance.
At first, I thought you said the Potter dance. I'm
The
like,
pirate
what?
dance.
He's being so strange.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I can